p.m. We're bringing developing news.
And the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. Some stories are watching this Thursday, April 10. President Trump has announced a 3-month pause on all reciprocal tariffs except for those imposed on China, which will instead be raised to 125%. Trump cited China's lack of respect for global markets as the reason for the increase. Other countries will see tariffs lowered to a universal 10% rate. Meantime, the American president touts his flexibility for the tariffs U-turn. He also says, and we quote, "Nothing is over yet."
People were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, to do. No other president would have done what I did, and it had to be done. But China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also. But somebody had to do it. You have to have flexibility. I could say, here's a wall, and I'm going to go through that wall. Look, nothing's over yet, but we have a tremendous amount of spirit from other countries, including China. China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it. They're proud people.
At the resumption of the Senate inquiry on Rodrigo Duterte's arrest, Senators Amy Marcos and Bato de la Rosa again were questioning why the former president was surrendered to The Hague instead of undergoing extradition as stated in the International Criminal Court's diffusion order. Justice Secretary Boying Remulla explained that extradition was no longer an option and that only ICC member states can initiate such actions. However, the lawmakers pointed out that the Philippines has no obligation to comply with the ICC since it's no longer a member of the court. The PNP confirmed that the two bodies found along Rodriguez Rizal yesterday belonged to missing businessman Anson Ke and his driver. Local watchmen found the victims on April 9. They were last seen on March 29 and reported missing on March 30. A special investigation task group led by the CIDG has been activated to probe the case.
Philippine Airlines confirms flight PR-102 from Manila to Los Angeles was diverted to Haneda Airport in Japan. This was due to initial reports of smoke from one of the plane's two air conditioning units. The Boeing 777 aircraft containing or carrying 355 passengers landed safely. Passengers remain on board as coordination with Haneda authorities continues. And joining us today, just in time. Ikaw talaga.
Kakaupo lang literally.
Magkad sa yung principal natin.
Si Patrick, may pinagawa sa
Hindi. This one I can excuse kasi umabot pa siya before you introduced him. Okay. Today is excused.
Naharang ako sa baba. Si Patrick.
Nakaharang ka. Iba talaga pag Mr. Suave. Okay, joining us today. Storycon's resident political pundit, Tito Ronald Llamas.
Gandang hapon, Ami.
Teka lang, I haven't introduced her.
Ay, di ba ba?
Hindi mo kami binabate.
Oo nga, parating si Ami. No?
Baka maniwala kayo na maganda yung hapon.
And from the Philippine Star, Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, Ami.
Hi, happy Thursday. Not so happy for a lot of people.
Ay nga. Pero who are you referring to?
Na-post naman yung
Yung
tariff
business community, meron silang matinding statement inisyo dyan sa kidnapping.
Tindi yun.
sila.
Tindi yun.
Really strongly worded, ha?
Totoo kaya yun, Ami, na collected sa Pogos? May lumabas
Merong bine-verify pa namin yung detalye pero mukha ngang merong... hindi naman siya ang related sa Parang nagpaupa yata siya. Yun yung
Tama.
initial namang kumakalat. Na may pinaupahan siya, nakakolekta ng upa para sana sa Pogo, kaya lang pinaalis yung Pogo, hindi yata na-refund. Anyway, yun yung initial lang. We're still verifying kasi walang gustong magsalita dito hanggang kagabi. Gabing-gabi na namin nakuha yung istoryang yan.
What's worrisome about this as well is nabayad daw yung ransom.
Two payments.
We heard that,
payments
again,
daw.
this to be confirmed, pero what we are hearing
Dollars,
from the sources is
Peso na, siyempre.
nabayad yung ransom, but still, it looks like there are signs of torture and pinatay nga.
Yes.
And also, by the way, he was kidnapped not at a restaurant in Macapagal Avenue in
Yes,
Pasay,
sa
pero
Bulacan.
in Bulacan. So, initially, nung kumakalat pa lang, The
habang sa
chismis
restaurant.
was nasa restaurant, kumakain along Macapagal Avenue. Turns out it was in Bulacan daw.
Oo, dahil masyadong
Yes.
maraming tao sa Macapagal.
Medyo nagpanic din sila no? Kasi maraming nga kumakain doon.
Pero mukhang tinorture dahil yung kanya, yung
Yes.
cadaver niya, maraming kwan.
Signs of
Signs of
torture.
torture.
Oo. And medyo takot because this is coming on the heels of the British, British
Yes.
school. Schoolboy who was kidnapped just about a month ago.
Na wala pang na-aresto, ha? Kaya ganyan, yan ang problema kapag hindi na-aresto eh. Di ba?
At
Ginaganahan yung mga, lalo na ganyang kalaki kita, yung ransom na hinihingi nila. Saka pag Pogo Link daw, ang hinihingi, dollar eh. Parang Abu Sayyaf, ano? Ayaw ng peso.
Tapos, syempre, black eye yan dun sa anti-crime drive ng gobyerno.
Yes.
Di ba? Yan, sa isang politically polarized, politically intense sitwasyon natin, makakadagdag yan. Parang gasolina sa apoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Saka
imagine
remember, ini-issue nga dito sa gobyerno, mahina daw sa crime, di ba? Dahil yun yung strength ng previous administration.
In fact, I've been seeing some people
projected strength.
on social media. Some people are already saying, buti pa nung panahon ni ganun, buti pa nung panahon ni ganun.
Yes.
At least yung panahon ni ganun kasi, sila yung gumagawa ng crime eh. Kaya, konti lang ang crime.
Teka lang. Okay, before we jump there, to be fair, Ed, lahat naman ng presidente, they have to put up with that. Buti pa nung panahon ni Gito, right? All the comparison.
Actually, panahon ni Duterte nga, di ba? Yung South Korean sa krami pinatay.
Oo nga, sa loob ng
yes.
mismo.
Yes.
Tapos
right.
linas pa sa kubeta yung ano niya.
Hanggang ngayon,
That's
hindi
right.
mahuli-huli yung dahil police colonel yung suspect.
Remember that? I think
Ay,
he was
yung
cremated and then
convicted
flushed down the
na.
toilet.
Tsaka yung mga ninja
Convicted
cops.
mastermind.
Tsaka di ba, Ami, yung mga ninja cops? Yung nire-recycle yung mga drugs?
Sila Albayalde was cleared, ha?
Tama.
Yan sa ninja cops.
Galing ng memory ni Ami. That's right. Ji-ik Ju was the name of the Korean who was killed.
Ji-ik Ju, saka si Rafael Dumlao, yung convicted. Kasi nagkaroon ng nag-reversal yung di ba, nung acquittal niya. Ni-reverse ng Court of Appeals, kaya natatandaan ko pa, recently lang yun At Supreme Court ang nag-issue nung nung statement na na-reverse and you are convicted already. And where are you? Hanggang ngayon, di siya mahuli-huli.
So you have these comparisons and you have that back and forth. But syempre, alam mo naman in the Philippines, like in many countries,
Yes.
it's a matter of perception more than
Tama.
it is
Eh, wala ka doon sa lolo ko.
Pero-
Nung panahon namin, pinakulong namin yung 3 senador Pero ngayon, nakalaya.
Nung panahon ng lola mo, Kastila pa ata.
Anong panahon ng lolo ko?
Panahon pa daw ni Aldous Huxley.
Nung panahon namin, pinakulong namin 3 senador sa Napoles Ngayon,
Pero yung
nakalaya.
statement ng business community, medyo may patama dun sa Kasi remember
Sa
yung sa
gobyerno.
British school, yung bata, sinabi nila isolated incident sabi ng pulis
Tsaka rescued.
Sinabi ng statement ng business community, this is not an isolated incident.
Tama. Saka di ba, Ami, ang sabi,
Di ba?
rescued. Rescued daw.
Rescue, mukhang may natanggal dahil dun sa salitang yun.
To refresh everyone's memory, questionable kung rescued kasi iniwan yung bata by the side, by the
He
side
was
of the
dumped
road.
there after the payment daw of ransom. Anyway, yun yung istorya nun.
Rescued by the ransom.
But they found the boy. So I guess that's what
They found the
call
boy.
a rescue.
Recovered yun, hindi
Kaya
rescued.
nga. But
Parang, parang forthwith.
I guess that's how they're seeing it. No? Nahanap naman
Ay, yung boy,
namin,
pinutol
buhay
yung
naman.
yung pinky, yung dulo ng pinky.
Oh, yun.
Talagang,
Nagpadala pa ng video nung nilalagari yung ay ganyan kabutal kaya nag-aalala yung mga negosyante.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of...
At yung driver ng boy was killed,
Yeah.
The driver of the boy, a Filipino, was also killed. Kaya ngayon, etong driver din, etong si Mr. Anson Ke, who's known as Anson Tan, by the way, sa business community, pinatay din.
lalo na, meron ngayong maraming checkpoint kayo dahil sa gun ban. Ibig sabihin, nangyayari yan sa gitna ng maraming checkpoint,
Speaking of crime fighting, si CIDG Chief General Nick Torre, nasa Senate na naman right now, nag-aaway.
Kaya nga,
Nagnaaway na naman ulit sila
He
over...
was being grilled.
Sa
Bakit ang
pag-aresto.
CIDG chief yung in charge doon sa arrest ni dating Pangulong Duterte? He's
all
supposed to
of
be
them
in
were
charge of
being grilled.
investigation and detection, not of arrests.
Depende kasi yan kung inutusan ka eh. Depende yan kung inutusan ka eh.
Kasi siya rin ang nagano ng Kibuloy
Hindi pa siya si IDG, no?
And then
Regional
Senator
Director.
Amy was pointing out na a month after the Kibuloy arrest, na-promote siya.
si IDG, tapos siya
ngayon,
in-assign kay Duterte.
tapos ngayon,
So parang siya
after
yung
ng Duterte, na-promote ulit siya. So Senator Amy was trying to
Ano yun?
make
Second
that
star na ba yun?
connection.
Is that a second star?
Yes.
Second star?
Yes. Pero depende kasi kung kung titignan mo bilang achievement. 'Di ba? Usually napopromote ka naman eh.
Okay, let's go to the Senate now with our reporter, mobile journalist Merimon Reyes for the latest on that Senate hearing we're talking about. Merimon, when we cut the feed to air the show, medyo nagkakainitan na sila doon, no, over well, it was between Senator Bato and Ambassador Marcos Lacanilao, who is the special envoy on transnational crimes. Ano pa nangyari after that?
Yes, isa sa mga nangyayari pa ngayon sa pangatlong pagdinig ng Senate Committee on Foreign Relations is yung pagko-confirm ni Police General Nicolas Torre na oo raw, dininay niya nga o hindi niya pinayagan na makapasok si Vice President Sara Duterte sa Villamor Air Base nung araw na inaresto si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Pero ang rason niya dito, mag-aalas 10 na raw kasi yun ng gabi, marami naman daw oras para gawin yun simula nung paglapag o pagdating ng Vice Presidente dito sa Pilipinas. Pero sinabi naman kanina ng komite, meron daw nalabag na karapatan itong yung pagre-restrict ni Torre doon sa pa-access ng dating Pangulo sa kanyang mga anak. Whether or not sinasabi na as legal counsel ng dating Pangulo, ay anak niya itong Vice-Presidente. Bukod dyan na naobserbahan din natin ngayon na present na halos lahat din ng mga invited na resource persons. At yung ilan dito na nakita natin kanina ay si Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla, mula sa AFP, Chief of Staff General Romeo Brawner Jr., ang Philippine Center of Transnational Crime, nandito rin sila, ang PNP, nandito sila General Marbil, pati sila General Torre, even si Honorable Justice Adolfo Ascuna Jr. ng Supreme Court ay nandito, at kanina ay nagbigay din siya ng pagpapaliwanag tungkol doon sa legal aspects ng pagkakaaresto. At kung titignan nga raw, meron talagang obligasyon na makikita dito ang Pilipinas kasi doon sa sinasabing sitwasyon ng yung state ng Pilipinas or yung sinasabing crimes against humanity ng dating Pangulo, nasa proseso na raw ng pag-iimbestiga noong bago pa mag-take effect itong pinaka-withdrawal ng Pilipinas sa ICC. So ang kailangan na lang tignan daw dito ay kung yung warrant of arrest daw ba, nasunod talaga yung due process. Pero on the certain aspects pagdating doon sa nangyari this time, ito yung pinaka-sitwasyon sa araw na ito. So far, nagkaroon din ng heated argument kanina sa pagitan ni Senator Bongo tungkol naman doon sa pahirapang access ng dating Pangulo sa kanyang personal nurse para daw masiguro kung fit to travel nga ba siya. So kanina kine-question din nila kung sino nga ba talaga yung pumirma ng travel permit ng dating Pangulo kasi nga raw maraming medications na kailangan na hanggang ngayon daw pahirapan daw, hindi raw naiinom ng dating Pangulo yung mga pinapatala nilang gamot na around 20 or lagpas 20 daw na medications dahil daw gusto ng ICC na sila raw ang magbibigay ng medication o magbabantay doon sa kalusugan ng dating Pangulo. Pero yun pa lang so far yung napag-uusapan ngayong araw na to, and hindi pa natin nakita kung anytime soon matatapos na ba dahil ngayon sinusulit na rin ng komite yung presensya nga ng resource persons ngayong araw.
Meron mo, nung the last time kasi, di ba si Professor Alexis Medina yung kinuha nilang legal expert, and if I recall correctly, his testimony was to the effect na may mga butas doon sa pag-aresto kay dating Pangulong Duterte. And now you have of course former Justice Ascuna there saying otherwise. So anong naging pahayag, anong response ng committee doon sa sinabi ni Ascuna?
Actually, ito yung kung i-quote ko rin si Honorable Ascuna, ang nasabi niya kanina, possible violations consist doon sa surrender without passing through the court or yung extrajudicial rendition that will have to be resolved by the Supreme Court. Ito rin yung pinaka-ninonote din kanina ni Secretary Justice Remulla na whether or not gaano pa kahited yung magiging arguments nila sa interpretation ng tribunal law, ng humanitarian law, kung paano nga ba dapat na kumilos ang bansa during that time until the present, hihintayin na lang daw talaga nila kung ano yung magiging desisyon dito ng Supreme Court. Pero ang nasabi kanina nila, Senadora Amy, nakikita na nga raw nila na maraming butas dito sa sistema ng kung ano mga yung nangyari, nag-transpire simula nung araw na pagkakaresto sa dating Pangulo. Kaya kailangan na raw daw talaga ngayon na magkaroon ng accountability kung sino nga ba ang dapat managot doon sa mga batas na hindi nasunod at karapatan na hindi naprotektahan.
Mary Mon, accountability even before the Supreme Court decision? Ano, pwede mong habulin kasi accountability kung merong adverse decision yung Supreme Court na yung arrest was illegal, na violate yung kanyang due process, etc. etc. Pero habang wala yon, paano sila hihingi ng accountability?
So for itong accountability na gusto nilang makuha or makita is magta-transpire dito mismo ngayon sa hearing kung ano nga ba yung makikitang violations na nagawa. Kasi for example, tulad nung kanina nung sinabi ni General Torre na hindi nani-restrict niya yung access ng Vice Presidente or ng anak ng dating Pangulo na si Vice President Sara Duterte, meron na agad parang issue doon sa part na yon sa desisyon na ni General Torre na ang sinasabi naman ni Torre, yun daw yung nakikita niyang kailangan gawin nung time na yon. Kasi nga raw, gabi na raw yun, yung delaying tactics, parang lumipas na raw yung mga oras. So yun yung nakita niya. Pero so far, what we will be seeing or what they're hoping to come out dito sa mga isinasagawang hearings is yung legislations pa na kailangang buuin para sa mas magandang coordination daw ng Philippine government sa tribunal courts pati sa iba pang mga law enforcement agencies. Kasi isa rin sa mga sinisilip nila ngayon na bago ako lumabas doon mismo sa venue ng pagdinig, sino pa ba yung mga nag-oversee doon sa ginawang pagkaka-aresto? Doon nila ngayon tinitignan kung saan nga ba nanggaling yung desisyon na ipagpatuloy yung pagkaka-aresto, na i-push yung pag-aabang na sa dating Pangulo sa airport, hanggang doon sa part na ililipad na siya from the Philippines to the Hague, Netherlands.
Yeah.
Pero wala ba nagpaliwanag
Mary Mon,
dyan?
exactly yung anong ibig sabihin ng accountability? Tatanggalin ba yung mga Saka nagsalita na dyan si President Marcos, sabi niya, cleaner sa Malacanang yun Di ba?
Yun
Yes,
ang
Ms.
tanong
Abby.
ko,
So
Mary
far,
Mon,
hindi pa natin nakadidinig kung ano nga bang, ano bang outcome yung gusto nilang makuha doon sa aspeto ng accountability. Pero sabi din kanina kasi nila Senator Cayetano na both sides naman daw naiintindihan nila na may kanya-kanyang nagiging interpretation ngayon dito sa pangyayari. Pero ang nakikita naman nila na gusto lang naman ng dalawang panig o dalawang ends dito sa issue na ito, dapat meron daw transparency at accountability sa kung sino nga ba ang dapat managot sa mga desisyon na iginawa dito sa pagkaka-aresto sa dating Pangulo.
Pero yun nga yung issue ko kanina,
Kasi
Mary
tinatanong ko
Mon.
yung
Yung accountability ba, yung
dahil
Senate ang
hindi naman
hihingi?
gagalaw ng ganyan yung mga yan kung walang go signal ng pinakamataas na opisyal ng Pilipinas, di ba?
Yeah.
That's such a major decision to make na kahit yung executive secretary hindi pwede i-go signal yan. Siyempre si President Marcos mismo yan, di ba? Meron ba nagbanggit ng gano'n, ng aspect na yun? Hindi naman pwede si Crispin Remulla lang ang nagsabi, pakidali na nga yan sa dahig yan dati nating presidente.
Yes, at saka,
Ms. Ami,
Ami,
yan
yung
din yung
sinasabi kasi nila ay hintayin yung desisyon ng Supreme Court para malaman kung ano talaga yung legal o basis ng arrest o yung violation. Kaya accountability happens kung may decision yung korte. Dahil yung Senate is not a court. Paano ano sabi mo, Mary Mon, kanina na gusto nila diyan magkaroon ng accountability? Paano mangyayari yun? Legislation ang trabaho nila.
I-clarify ko lang din na Sir Ronald, yung sinasabi kasing accountability is yung parang manifestation lang na kung ano man yung gusto nilang makuha doon dito sa mga isinasagawang ipagdinig, makita talaga nila kung ano nga ba yung naging loopholes doon sa kung may due process daw ba talagang nalabag, may karapatan nga bang hindi naprotektahan, and so far ito yung mga nakikita nila sa pagdinig ngayong araw na ito. Pero yun din yung sinasabi kanina ni Justice Secretary Remulla, kahit anong mangyari pa sa kanilang mga arguments, they will still wait kung ano nga ba ang magiging desisyon ng Supreme Court para nga ba ma-resolve na o to set the record straight sa lahat ng nangyari dito.
Okay. We'll let you go so that you can continue monitoring the hearing. Mary Mon Reyes reporting to us live from the Senate. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mary
Mary
Mon.
Mon.
Salamat,
Thank
Mary
you,
Mon.
Mary Mon.
Accountability nga ba? Because the other thing that they said at the start, Senator Amy said at the start was, para siguradong hindi
Hindi maulit.
Oo, because
Oo.
they named Senator Bato already. Doon sa
Hindi
hearing.
maulit kung talagang walang
Meaning
due
hindi
process.
maulit, meaning
Oo,
wala na uling maarestong iba. Yun ang ano dyan eh.
Oo, kung
Para
merong...
hindi na maaresto yung iba.
Kung
Correct.
illegal nga, tsaka kung illegal, at saka may violation ng human rights, etc. Na ang sabi naman ni Justice Remulla, yun nga yung nakasalang sa Supreme Court eh. Iba yun na nakasalang kung ito ay illegal, walang due process, etc.
And ultimately, it's the Supreme Court who's gonna decide. So we have to wait for that.
And then you can
Oo.
ask for accountability.
Oo. Iba-iba yung interpretations nga nila eh. Okay, let's now bring in our first guest. We have with us Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela. Commodore, welcome back to Storycon. We brought you back kasi napuputol kahapon. Can you hear us okay?
Hi, Commodore.
Hello ma'am, magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Yan, better. Okay.
Magandang hapon, Commodore.
Okay na,
afternoon,
okay na.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, we were asking you last time, we were asking you yesterday.
Hapon.
Kasi we had another incident over the weekend. Yung almost collision or ramming, if you might call it that, ng China Coast Guard sa ating vessels sa Scarborough Shoal. That comes after a bit of parang slow down ng tensions or lessening ng tensions between China and the Philippines. What do you think accounts for this? Bakit biglang nagkaroon na naman?
Well, una sa lahat, sir, ang in-explain ko kahapon, I think it's wrong to think na because of the provisional understanding that we have right now with the People's Republic of China sa Ayungin Shoal is already a guarantee na may ease na yung tension sa buong West Philippine Sea. That provisional understanding is only applicable to Ayungin Shoal.
Yes, sir.
But it does not apply to the entire West Philippine Sea. Now, kung ang tanong is bakit nagkaganito na ulit yung reaction ng China, since January, we have publicized this na ang China Coast Guard has been conducting illegal patrol off the coast of Zambales,
Yes, sir.
Ilocos, and even Pangasinan. So since then on, every time we monitor them, that they intend to normalize such illegal behavior, challenge natin sila. And what happened last April 6 and April 7, we would like to believe na the intention of the Chinese Coast Guard is only to threaten and intimidate the Philippine Coast Guard because probably they already got tired of the presence of BRP Kabla there. That they have been challenging them persistently and telling them that they are violating international law. Other than that, we don't have any other interpreted reason kung bakit nila ginawa ito. But obviously, what they are currently conducting is to normalize such illegal patrol off the coast of Zambales.
Commodore, wala bang attempt na magkaroon din ng provisional agreement sa Bajo de Masinloc, similar dun sa Ayungin? Is this totally off the table or is this a work in progress?
Although, of course, we understand it's not in our control, yung Scarborough, yung Bajo de Masinloc.
But first of all, sir, I don't think that we need to have provisional understanding. But again, it is subject to the Department of Foreign Affairs and our diplomats to come up with such agreement. But having a provisional understanding is not something that I would really recommend, considering na ang usapin natin dito, it falls obviously within our own exclusive economic zone in Bajo de Masinloc. It only has a distance of somewhere between 115 to 120 nautical miles. So why would we even have such understanding kung alam naman natin talaga atin ito, and it is like more than 600 nautical miles away from the mainland China.
Yes.
Kaya tinatanong yun, Commodore, kasi dun sa Ayungin meron eh. And yung story ngayon from the armed forces, yung daw latest resupply mission sa Ayungin, okay naman, successful daw. So, and the two countries are holding regular meetings, di ba? Paiba-iba yung host, hindi ko alam kung sino yung next ngayon. Kaya mas magaling daw kasi ayaw magbigay pareho, both sides ayaw magbigay ng China. Maganda daw siguro kung pag-usapan na lang yung Scarborough.
Well,
so meron bang ganon? Meron bang ganon?
To other government agencies when it comes to their take on this. But again, I don't think that we need to come up with such agreement or compromises because in accordance with international law, UNCLOS and the 2016 arbitral award, the People's Republic of China do not have legitimate basis for their historical 9-dash line claim. It was already invalidated by the 2016 arbitral award.
Yes, sir. But sir,
correct.
you might say the same thing about Ayungin Shoal. Ayungin din is also within our EEZ, and it's also being claimed by China as part of the 9 or 10-dash line. However, we still agreed to sort of compromise with China there.
I would rather not comment on that, sir. No?
Okay.
This was already decided by our government.
Okay. Commodore, last week, China conducted a large-scale surprise military exercises around Taiwan, which caused quite a bit of alarm in the region because they sent, 19, 20 warships, dozens of fighter jets to encircle Taiwan. And some analysts were saying na parang hindi na drills, parang rehearsal na for a potential blockade of Taiwan. Put that in the context of our situation. Are we monitoring an increase in similar activities? Or what are you seeing?
Well, to tell you honestly, ma'am, what the Philippine Coast Guard is currently making ourselves busy are the presence of the Chinese research vessels in different areas, particularly up north. But we are not really keen in monitoring such military movement on the part of the People's Republic of China.
Itong mga research expeditions, how long do they usually stay? And what kind of information are they trying to extract here?
Well, the Chinese research vessels are, especially the one up north, it entered the exclusive economic zone natin April 2. April 3, they started doing this reverse the navigation pattern. And when we attempted to challenge them through the aircraft, it left and went outside our exclusive economic zone last April 8. So fairly we can say they stayed in our exclusive economic zone for almost 5 to 6 days while they were conducting that marine scientific research. So far, is the only instance that we have monitored a Chinese research vessel conducting marine scientific research. If your question is what is their intention, there are very diverse reasons why a state is conducting marine scientific research. It may just be about the tide and current and even the seabed and all. But again, sa sobrang wide ng reasons for such MSR, ma'am, I cannot really speculate what is the real intention of the Chinese government.
Right. But when we challenge them, and I assume by challenge you mean we issue a radio challenge. When we challenge them, ano po yung response nila?
Well, yung kung pinag-usapan natin, ma'am, is yung nasa Batanes. Unfortunately, when our aircraft went there, together with some of the media personalities, it's already outside our exclusive economic zone. Nakalabas na siya sa atin, sir. Ma'am. It's already iisay ng People's Republic of China na ulit.
Pero anong rules doon, Commodore? Anong rules sa research? Kasi baka naman na-expansion to ng gray zone tactics nila na nadagdag.
Yung research
Nadagdag sa Coast Guard nila. Ito naman ngayon, research naman ngayon. Isn't that a possibility?
The Chinese government do not have the authority to conduct marine scientific research within our own exclusive economic zone. That is obviously stated in UNCLOS. So they are basically violating UNCLOS. That's why we want to document and catch them doing the marine scientific research, because we will have enough evidence that they're violating that. On the part of the Coast Guard, we will document that and submit it to the National Task Force for the West Philippine Sea, and hoping that either the Department of Justice or the DFA can take action about such violation of UNCLOS.
Commodore, regarding do sa statement ni Armed Forces Chief of Staff Browner a week ago, tungkol dun sa paghahanda natin sa possibility ng escalation ng tensions or even invasion sa Taiwan. Anong ginagawang preparation ng Coast Guard? Dahil Coast Guard kasi is civilian at yung ating mga OFW na 250,000 ay kinakailangan talaga ng suporta. Anong hinahanda natin tungkol dito? At least specifically sa Coast Guard.
Well, on the part of the Philippine Coast Guard, sir, we have contingencies regarding this, but I'm not authorized to disclose to the public the details of the contingencies for the Philippine Coast Guard.
Okay.
And secondly, I would like to highlight na etong contingencies na to is not about being alarmist and all na sinabi ni Jal Brown. What he just mentioned is for us to prepare.
Yes.
So I don't think that there is negative on that. Kumbaga parang sinasabi niya lang we need to prepare about this.
Okay. We'll leave that there. Thank you so much for your time today,
Thanks, sir.
PCG spokesperson Commodore J. Tariela.
Maraming
Thank you,
salamat,
Commodore.
Commodore. Hindi ka namin nabati kahapon, yung happy araw ng kagitingan.
Oh, yes. Nandiyan pa si
alam ko
Commodore.
birthday.
Thank you po.
Wala na.
Thank you, sir. You're watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We've got developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Regina Lay, and still with us, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star and Ronald Llamas, our resident political pundit.
Ba't natatawa ka na naman?
Gusto niyo sabihin ko, resident political heckler.
Yun ang hinihintay ko.
Natatawa rin si Professor Ranjit. Natatawa sa atin.
Parang nag-agree si Professor sa'yo eh. Anong problema dyan?
Na professional heckler ka.
Bawa na nga tuloy.
O yun na, bring in the
Our
guest.
second guest, Octa Research President, Professor Ranjit Rai. Sir, magandang hapon. Welcome back to Storycon.
Magandang hapon, Prof.
Yes, good
Hi,
afternoon,
Professor.
everyone.
Tanong lang,
Good
Professor,
afternoon po.
nag-agree ka ba kay
Good afternoon
Reg?
to all the viewers.
Tanong lang, Professor, nagka-agree ka ba kay Reg? Iba hindi naman. Oh.
Hindi naman.
Oh,
Minsan
okay,
lang,
okay.
parang gano'n.
minsan
hindi
lang.
naman. Analyst pa rin.
Analyst pa rin. Ayun yun na analyst eh. Gusto niya special. Like,
Pundit.
Pundit.
Pero in this day and age, we need the hecklers to remind people where they are, what,
Not
put
to
them in
take-
their place every
Not
now
to
and
take
then. Kailangan
themselves
pa rin-
too seriously. Not to take themselves too seriously.
That's true. That's
Pero
true.
sir, I'm sure you remember yung our most pronounced image of hecklers was from The Muppet Show. Yung
Yeah,
dalawang nasa
yeah,
balkonahe,
yeah.
di ba? Yun, ito si Ami, alam ni Ami rin. Yung dalawang matanda sa balkonahe.
Inabot ni Ma'am Ami yun, ha? Kaya,
Yung wala kang gagawin matino.
Tapos sabay tatawa sila. Teka. May pag-usapan ulit tayo. Sir,
Survey.
we're looking at the latest survey from Octa Research on the senatorial preferences. Well, I suppose dun sa bandang taas naman na wala masyadong malaking kaibahan. Pero dun sa bandang baba, mukhang may mga movements eh. I'm seeing tumaas, for example, si Bam at si Kiko. At actually pati si Ipe, Marcoleta, Bundok, Vic Rodriguez. Nag-double digit sila versus I think I'm looking at
Abalos.
Villar, Pacquiao, Rebillame, Abalos.
Aimee.
Medyo at saka Aimee, gumalaw sila pababa. What do you think accounts for these movements?
okay, first, just for context sa atin mga kababayan, COCTA conducted its March survey April 18 to 24 with 1,200
March 8,
respondents
March
all over the
18 to
country with a
24.
margin of error of plus minus 3%. And ang unang finding natin is majority of the Allianza bets, senatorial bets, are in the top 12. What we seem to see clearly is that at least 2 or 3 from the PDP Laban slate, namely Senator Go, Senator Bato de la Rosa, Mr. Willie Revillame, seem to be steady as far as their place in the top 12 is concerned. But the third image is that yung tightening po ng race, talaga nagiging mahigpit yung laban, lalo na dun sa 10, 11, 12 slots, and you'll notice dun medyo malaking istorya. We have the big stories, really, Pam Aquino and Kiko Pangilinan, at least in the Octa survey, is poised to get into the top 12, or statistically are in the top 12, and have a good chance of getting into the straight 12 as far as we're concerned. Kasi nga, yung pag nakita nyo yung number 12 sa straight, ang pinakahuli sa Octa ay si former Senator Manny Pacquiao. Pero yung differential lang nila with the rest is less than 3 percent, no? So parang talagang tight na tight po yung laban. And nasa dulo ngayon ay the person with the statistical chance to still get in the top 12 is Senator Amy Marcos.
Yeah. Malaki ang binaba niya.
March 18 to 24 pala. I just wanted to
Yes.
quickly correct. March 18 to 24 yung survey, not April 18 to 24.
Sir, some of these
March
people,
18,
ang adjustments nila are up to 10 percentage points.
Yeah, I know. Well, it seems like to utilize a medical term, no, may parang sympathy surge, no?
Okay.
Dun sa, kasi this was taken during the time when the former president Duterte was arrested, no, and brought to The Hague. So mukhang we captured the surge in support for PDP Laban candidates. But actually, the big story really is, other personalities, no, who we didn't expect to get in are now in, basically si former Senator Kiko Pangilinan, si former Senator Bam Aquino. So their numbers have improved over time, and we have two tables now. Actually, table 2 of our own report shows the trend, no, the trend line since January. But for our viewers, the most important is still the current survey, March. And in the current survey, you'll notice that almost all of the Alianza candidates have a chance to get into the top 12. Okay. The race is extremely tight sa 10, 11, and 12. And especially 11 and 12, you have, knocking at the door for the 12th slot is really Willie Villame, Benher Abalos, Bam Aquino, Kiko Pangilinan, Francis Tolentino, and Amy Marcos. Yeah. So I think I just want to emphasize that. Yes, some of the numbers after that, some of the candidates really did improve, but not enough to get into the those who are probably going to be in the top 12.
So, Professor, si Bam and Kiko are candidates of former Vice President Robredo, no?
Yeah.
Sa tingin niyo, I'm asking you as a political scientist, buhay pa ba yung pink wave? Kasi medyo malaki yun, nung nakaraang, malakas na malakas pa rin yun, and we cannot ignore it. Sa tingin niyo, buhay pa yun?
I think if you look at the numbers now, I think if they're going to show if the pink wave is going to reveal itself, no, it should reveal it at this point, no, because right now the two former senators need a sort of momentum, something to sustain that momentum going up, and I think with better organization, a reminder, an affirmation within the movement, no, that these two people can truly win, and I think the survey is showing that there's a very strong possibility they can make it to the top 12. I think that movement, that kilosan, can be reorganized and utilized in the last month of the campaign.
Pero yung nga, Prof, yung tanong ko siyempre sa survey, nagbabago It's a momentary snapshot Diba?
Yes, sir.
Pero usually, kung kukumpara mo yung mga previous survey, makikita mo kung siya ba ay umaangat ng tuloy-tuloy o siya ay bumababa ng tuloy-tuloy. Dito ba sa nakikita nyo ay, halimbawa, yung mga tumataas, ay ito ba ay, gagamitin ko sana ng salita, ay trend Pero short of a trend, are these movements medyo sustainable? Or ito ay nagfa-fluctuate? May survey kayo na mababa, may survey na mataas. Kaya kayo kasi nakakaunawa dun sa survey nyo, di ba?
Yeah.
So sa inyong survey, sustainable
numbers
ba
are
yan?
steady
Yeah?
Sa Senator Pangilinan's numbers are quite steady. Yung numbers ni Senator Bam, yung medyo dramatic yung changes, no? When you look at the January survey results and today, syempre meron tayong at least 4 or 5 percentage point, 4%, no, increase dun sa numbers niya. So it's kind of dramatic. So the movement is going up, no, at least for both of them. And for those who have fluctuated, the movements for many of the current members of the top 12, as far as the Okta survey is concerned, is really the direction has been down for many of them. No, the most notable, of course, is Senator Amy, who, by the way, did not benefit from the sympathy surge that we saw with.
Oo nga, sir.
that we saw from the others, no, from the PDP Laban slate, no, where a lot of them, benefited from this surge in support, which is kind of incredible, no. But not enough for many of them to get into this to gain a statistical chance to get into the final 12. Yeah.
So
So
it
yun,
doesn't,
so to answer Ronald's question, yes. Yun nga lang, paano natin sustain yung momentum na yan? Hindi natin alam kung may kilusan pang natitira na pwedeng i-organize at gamitin. Pero kung meron man, siguro ngayon na dapat i-organize yan at buhayin kasi may malaking chance eh. Pero just the same, yung alyansa candidates dominate the top 12. Wala na pag sa straight, no? Talagang klarong-klaro this midterms will be dominated by the administration candidates.
so ang isang resulta nito, Prof, ay it doesn't pay na mamangka sa dalawang ilog.
Well, yeah, yung mukhang that issue is still a problem,
Applies.
a challenge for Senator Amy. I hope she overcomes it. Also, a big story is Senator Bongo has created some nominal separation from Erwin Tulfo, but they both share the top spot as far as our Okta survey is concerned.
Applies to politics, applies to you din, no?
I don't know what that means.
Si Ronald.
Professor,
Yeah.
Professor, kung ganyan yung
Maraming
impact, apparent impact sa ratings ni Senator Amy, sa tingin mo dapat pa niyang ituloy ang mga niya,
Sa
investigation niya,
hearing.
mukhang lalong nababaon, nababaon ng mga tao sa confusion.
Yeah, yeah, that's possible. But we also don't know. We're running another survey. Currently running another survey. Today is the start, and let's see what the survey results will show. If there's actually going to be a bump in her numbers or it will continue to slide. One thing's for sure, she still has a statistical chance to get into the top 12, and that the race is tightening. It's very competitive, and when you look at the Okta survey, there's still a lot of chance for the others who are not in the top 12 to get in, and there's still a lot of time for campaigning. And the big stories are, aside from Senator Bongo and Congressman Tulfo continuing to top the race, the survey, is that former Senators Bam Aquino and Kiko Pangilinan now seem to have a competitive chance as far as our survey is concerned.
Sabi nyo nga, Prof, the race is tightening, no? Pero syempre, isang variable dyan ay machinery. Going into last month, nung 3-month campaign for the Senate. Last month na ito eh. Ibig sabihin na 2/3 ay tapos na. So ito na yung huling buwan. At machinery sa dulo ay importante. Ikalawa
Machinery
ay...
at Baluarte. Yung machinery at Baluarte. It
Yes.
seems that those who are steady, like Senator Tolentino, at least in our survey, Benher Abalos, they seem to consistently stay to be in the fighting, to have a fighting chance, largely because of their baluarte, and to some extent maybe the machinery. In the case of Secretary Abalos, and in the case of Senator Tolentino, it's really the Calabarzon area vote that he continues to hold. You're right, no? If the network of support at the congressional, at the local government level kicks in, these people actually benefit from that. Those at the laylayan, Abalos, Tolentino, who are really part of the Allianza machinery. So we can't count them out.
Pero sabi nyo nga, yung tightening na ito, medyo indicative na lumalabas na may 8 sa administration na parang nagsosolidify, may 2 independent na nagsosolidify, at may isang oposisyon na medyo sigurado na. So ang pinagtatalunan, indicatively hindi ko sinasabi na nakataya sa bato, indicatively, parang isang slot yung pinagtatalunan ng 6.
Yes.
Diba?
Yeah.
6
Yun
hanggang
nga po,
8.
yung number 12 talaga pupuk na laban dyan, and it's going to be extremely competitive. It's too early to make a call. Pero you're right, no? 8 from Allianza, possibly 2 from PDP, and 1 independent.
Pero dalawa
si
yung-
Mr. Ben Tulfo. Yeah. So,
Si
and then the
Willie
rest.
Revillame parang independent siya, hindi siya PDP
Oo nga, technically
Siguro po.
independent
Oo,
siya.
hindi siya- hindi siya
Although of
nag-register.
course may
Hindi siya
may
nag-register.
Pero
connection.
may affiliation siya eh.
Oh, may
Yeah.
No,
affiliation.
Ben Tulfo is independent. I'm talking about
Willie
the possibility
Revillame. I mean,
of
Willie Revillame,
Senator Bato
Prof.
and Senator Bongo.
Oo. Willie Revillame
Again,
is one, di ba? Is independent.
He's running as independent.
Willie
Yeah.
Revillame.
But you know, from the Duterte group, Bongo and Senator Bato are likely to get in. At least when you look at the survey, the elections were held during the period of the survey. And of course, the independent Mr. Ben Tulfo will likely come in. And so that's and then there's this distinct possibility na, you know, we have 8 from Alliance, possibly 9. We don't know eh. So pero yung solid dyan, 8 sigurado sec na mukhang
Yeah.
ayos ano. Si Senator Bongo mukhang, you know, where he is now, it's mukhang he's consolidated his vote and
Pangilan ba si Juan,
gained from the
Prof? Pangilan
sympathy
si Willie
surge.
Revillame?
So yung number 12, yun ang pinag-aawayan ngayon, sir, and that's
Between
still an open
12,
question.
12 to 18.
Si Willie
Yung,
Revillame.
yung rank niya, oo, 12 to 18.
Sa
So,
iba kasing survey, mataas siya. Mas mataas siya kaysa kay Bato.
actually, yes.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference, no?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much for your time and analysis. Thanks for joining Storycon again, Professor Ranjit Rai,
Salamat, Prof.
President of Okta Research.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
May comment sa website.
Ito ako. I don't know what that means.
Pero, no.
May
Last,
buntot eh, no? May buntot.
pero last month na nga, you're right, last month na. This is
Last
when
month
they,
na,
this is
2/3
when
na tapos
they
eh.
kick into high gear.
Yes.
Uh,
Saka sa dulo, mahalaga yung machinery tsaka bailiwick. Yun yung sinasabi ni Prof.
Are we still expecting anything to change from this point onwards?
Well, yun nga, yung...
You're expecting 8, 2, and
sa ngayon kasi, registration ni Willie Revillame ay independent.
independent. Oh.
Isa siya doon sa dalawa na may chance makapasok. Tapos may dalawang oposisyon na may chance makapasok. Di ba? So practically, ang pinagkatalunan ay 1 seat. Yun yung, kaya mahalaga yung sabi niya na tightening. Dahil nga meron kang 8 sa administration na more or less ay makakapasok.
O dali, bitawan na natin para lumapit ang Biyernes. Kaya talaga,
Oh, we have to get back to the Senate hearing pa pala.
Oo nga.
Kung saan umiyak si Senator Robin Padilla.
Talaga? Umiyak?
Oh yeah, nung nagsa-statement si Senator Bongo, napaiyak siya. We have to get back to that.
Hindi si Bato ang umiyak.
Si Bato.
Hindi.
Ano mahilig umiyak din si Senator Bato eh.
Hindi, it was Senator Padilla this time. Okay, thank you so much for joining Storycon today. Ami Pamituan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star, Ronald Llamas, a resident political pundit.
Iyakin din.
Pandit? Oh, naiyakin din.
Heckler.
I don't know what that means.
Uy,
Heckler.
not many people know that.
Nadamay patuloy. Nadamay patuloy si Prof.
Join us again
Nabigmong
tomorrow,
siguro si
4 p.m. Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Ed Lingao. We are One News, all sides, all the time.